Okay. See if we can get this going here, up and running. Making sure everyone can hear on the live feed here. The date is July the 25th. It's been a while since we've jumped on to the internet here with these updates. Really, Beryl was the last time we were talking about a lot of this stuff, on the live stream. Hold on, bear with me. I'll try to get this microphone working a little bit better. It's in a weird spot. All right, well, it's just going to have to do. So yeah, it's been quite rainy here this week. A lot of unsettled weather, day-to-day rainfall in the region. Today was huge for the coast. Yesterday, it was the brush country, and the day before that, it was the watershed. So we'll jump right into what we're looking at here. Just wanted to update everything with respect to the rainfall totals that we've seen so far. And today was hyperactive on North Padre Island. You know, we've got nearly a foot of rain there today. That's a huge number. It was a little bit questiony. Was hesitant, wary of that gauge on the island. But looks like that's a legit number. There have been several reports up there where the totals, are way up. I mean, 8, 9, 10, 11 inches of rain. So huge day on the island. Also, Flower Bluff, the Naval Air Station, is now 3 2/3 of an inch of rain, nearly 4 inches in Port Aransas. I'm telling you, this mic is weird right now. The way the wire is, it's like stuck in there, so I can't put it on in an easy way. Sorry, I'm trying to make this, whatever. So, today's focus was basically on a line from Hebronville to Ingleside and then up through Refugio Tivoli. It's where the heaviest rains were. By far, the island, huge amount of rain there. So that's just today. Leading up to, this week, the rainfall forecast was for between 4 and 6 inches of rain in a lot of the coastal areas, and then inland between 2 and 4 inches. And you can see how the gaps are starting to get filled in. We now have numerous locations, including around Corpus Christi, with over 4 inches of rain. The Naval Air Station, Port Aransas, both over 4 inches. The airport has about 3 inches right now. And parts of town in Corpus Christi have, getting close to 6 inches of rain. Hebronville, Benavides, Falfurrias, between 1.5 and 2.5 inches of rain in that sector of KIII country. And then up along the Highway 59 corridor in B and Live Oak counties, you're looking at 2.5 to 3.5 inches so far. Places like George West and to the north of Beeville. So we are currently not in a drought. We haven't been in a drought. We're running a surplus on the rain, and this is definitely helping. This is the year to date. We're over an inch now above average. So the totals are impressive. Pull this up full screen here. I don't know which button it's going to be. That's the right one. Okay. Since Monday, the island, 12.5 inches. SPID and Weber area of Corpus Christi, close to half a foot of rain. You saw on the map, Ingleside and Port Aransas over 4 inches. The Aransas Wildlife Refuge also has over 4 inches of rain since Monday. The Padre Island National Seashore getting close to that 4-inch mark. These are just some of the highest totals in the area. Over 3 inches just to the north of Kingsville. So lots of rain here, you know, and it's expected. It was expected. We were saying between 4 and 6 inches of rain for the coastal areas of the coastal bend. We're certainly seeing that pan out. The island, obviously, way more. Impossible to predict an outlier that much above everybody else. And the watershed, the center of it, not tons of rain, but the northern, really, quarter of the watershed just got crushed earlier this week, Monday, Tuesday. Lots of places up there near Bandera, into the hill country, south of I-10, north of Highway 90, got tons of rain, over 8 inches south of Rock Springs. That's in parts of the northern reaches of the Choke Canyon, Lake Corpus Christi catch zone, which is, you know, it's impossible to know how much is going to run off, run down the tributaries and make it into the reservoirs here. It's just an unanswerable question. But that's where the drought was the worst in this region, and that's where the rain fell the hardest earlier this week. So this has been a very beneficial week of rain in south central Texas. You know, no matter how you cut it. The driest areas have really been Carrizo Springs, out toward Laredo, and then toward Pearsall, maybe south through Tilden, with Cotulla being the outlier there with over 2 inches. But, you know, this has been a great week. Considering it's late July, we're getting this rain. The rain doesn't have a name associated with it. Temperatures have been cooler than average by, you know, today nearly 10 degrees below average with all the rain around. We stayed in the middle 80s. So this is nice. It's nice to have this setup this time of year here. The lake levels have not responded yet. Lake Corpus Christi is up a little bit. You know, we're up to over 40% now there. But the combined level is not moving a ton, up 1% over the last month. You know, and we'll have to wait and see how much of that runoff in the hill country can get down into Choke Canyon and Lake Corpus Christi. The forecast does call for continued unsettled weather through Friday, Saturday at minimum. We have this weather impact alert thing that we've got going on now at Channel 3, and all that is an attempt to highlight days that we think are going to be a little more disruptive to your day-to-day life. So in this case, Friday, Saturday, you know, because the coverage is at 60% or greater, that's why the weather impact alert is getting triggered. It's not for severe weather. It's not for flooding in this case. It's simply because of the coverage of the rainfall we're expecting. So in other words, more than half of the viewing area each day, Friday, Saturday, we're expecting to get rain. Sunday, it drops a little bit down to 50%. I do think we get some rain in the morning, definitely on Sunday, but the afternoon doesn't look quite as busy. And then next week, there may be a day, Tuesday, where widely scattered showers or storms try to pop up, but next week is looking vastly different, not only with respect to rainfall, but temperature-wise, it's going to be the way July should be here in the middle 90s. So this is what's still to come on top of what we've already gotten. This is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, parts of Corpus Christi could still see another 2 to 4 inches of rain, as well as, you know, a lot of Refugio, Aransas counties, and then points to the north and east of that over the next 3 days. So we're not done yet. It kind of feels like we are after the morning we had, especially on the island. It feels like, okay, we're done with this, right? But there will still be more rain. It'll be hit and miss stuff, and some of it's going to be heavy. It doesn't, you know, we had a shower, I want to say it was Tuesday afternoon in that Weber SPID area. that thing dropped 2 to 3 inches of rain in an hour, at 2 hours. You know, it was not a long time, and 2 inches of rain had fallen. So that's kind of where we're at with respect to the rain. I think today in Corpus Christi will probably end up being the most active day out of this week and out of the next few days. But what I'm trying to say is we still have more rain ahead of us Friday, Saturday, and then again on Sunday. Chances get a little lower as you get farther inland, and then next to nothing in the far western, northern parts of the watershed, trace to a ½ inch of rain there. So this is, you know, the last few days of this pattern. This graphic, we're starting on it. This is the current pattern that we're in, where we've got a little trough over North Texas, a stationary front draped across the state, and then we're bookended by high pressure to the west and east of us. And this setup, we talked about this a lot during Hurricane Beryl. This is the same, almost identical setup, and instead of a named, you know, hurricane or developed system, we're just getting this lane of tropical moisture. We're getting fed full of moisture in the atmosphere between those two highs, with that low pulling it up to the north. And the extra benefit we've got this time around is that stationary front is helping to consolidate a lot of the tropical moisture in south central Texas. So it's helping. It's another ingredient to help the rain flourish here this week. That all is going away next week. The trough lifts north. The high kind of gets lined up, centered up over the state. And next week, with this setup, mid-90s, heat index well into the triple digits, less rain for sure, and Saharan dust. We're going to get some Saharan dust in here next week. The last few bouts of dust we've had have all come in with decent rain chances. We haven't really seen a ton of the haze in the atmosphere. Really, the haziest time of the year was in May, with all of the smoke from the agricultural burnings coming in Central America, Yucatan, Mexico. So the haze next week will be specifically from Saharan dust, and you can see it all. Look at it all out in the Atlantic. That plume that's in the eastern Atlantic, that's going to be where our dust next week comes in from. And, you know, that it's going to be, I think, a fairly hearty batch of it by the time it gets here. You can see we've got some over the Texas Gulf Coast, but the rain today kind of cleansed the air a little bit. And, you know, we might go from good to moderate on the air quality the next few days. But by the middle of next week, this secondary push of dust looks like it's going to be coming in without rain and into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. This is Wednesday, a little after noontime, and that's a pretty dense pocket of Saharan dust. So tonight, I've got us in the mid-70s tonight. There is a chance for a few overnight showers or storms, primarily near the coast. It'll be muggy out, and that is not a typo to say froggy, because after big rains, a lot of times you'll get the frogs coming out. You'll be ribbiting. And on top of that, there's an additional pun in there, because I do think we'll see some fog. Patchy fog, fresh precip on the ground, extra moisture, winds aren't going to be strong, and as temperatures cool down to near the dew point, I do think we catch some fog. I'm going to put this full screen
with a great deal on your
that's
favorite
a commercial on TV right now. So tonight, Kermit, the fog here. I can only do that off camera. I'm too shy to do it on the camera. But I used to say that on the morning show all the time. And I do think, yeah, a little bit of patchy fog overnight with the frogs making whatever noises they make. Tomorrow, wrapping up the soggy week of weather with upper 80s, another day of below average temperatures. There will be hit and miss showers and thunderstorms. I don't think we see as much coverage as today. But if you do happen to get under one, there will be pockets of heavy rain. So just know that, you know, there is still a chance for some minor street flooding I don't think we see it to the level we saw today on, NPID under the Leopard overpass. That was ridiculous. There's no drainage there for whatever reason. That part of town only got, I would say, maybe 3, maybe 4 inches of rain. We shouldn't be looking at that much flooding given that amount of rain. If a foot of rain had fallen there like it did on the island, then I could see that. But I just want to talk about that for a second, because the type of flooding that we get here in the coastal bend is not of the same ilk as the Texas Hill Country when they get a ton of rain, right? We live in something called the coastal plains. So, let me just go full screen here. Our rain, when it falls, it's not running off into valleys and highly topographic terrain. You're not getting rapid flowing of steady water here. Typically, you can get some movement in it, but it's not the rushing torrent that you see up in the hill country. So, when flash flood warnings are issued here, it's more because of the quick rise in the water and not necessarily the fast rushing movement of the water. And that being said, I'm sure you've seen the video of the car that was stuck in that rise of water under that Leopard Street overpass on NPID. That's an example of what can happen. Car ruined, it's a problem. Your day's ruined, it's an expense. Not good. So the quip is turn around, don't drown. That's what we always say. And it's you don't want to be driving into standing water where you don't know what's underneath, because sometimes what's underneath is different than the last time you went over that road if there's any type of erosion underneath that water. Typically that's more of a problem with the moving water, but you never know. So Friday, again, we're going to have that rain chance. Saturday, I think a little better of a chance. And Saturday might be sneaky rainy. I'm expecting rain, but Saturday, just the way it looks right now, some upper level support coming in aloft, it could be reminiscent to today. I don't think it's going to be the exact same, but I think Saturday's activity looks a little bit better in terms of coverage than tomorrow's looks. Sunday, less coverage, but still a decent chance for rain. And then into next week, we turn back up the heat, turn down the rain. For what? No one got the reference in the newsroom. It's okay. Mid-90s as that dust comes back in. I'll try to answer questions. Yeah, the mosquitoes are going to be having a field day here. I'll go back to the totals that we've got, in the area since Monday. Impressive numbers. We were calling for 4 to 6 inches, and many places are within that range, and many places inland that were only supposed to get 2 to 4 inches are in that 2 to 4 inch range. Hebronville, Benavides, George West, Beeville, Refugio, and then the higher totals happening where we thought they would. Ingleside, Port Aransas, Naval Air Station, parts of Corpus Christi, all over 4 inches of rain. The island, weather lottery for the island, over a foot of rain. Ribbit, Leanne McCumber, ribbit, yes. A little froggy out tonight. So it's 9:12 on a Thursday, July the 25th. I think I will wrap this up. Got to update the graphics per usual prior to the 10 o'clock show. And if you missed this, feel free to watch it again. All of this is on our website, KIITV.com/weather. Every graphic I just showed is on the website right now, plus more. And if it's not, then you can, rewatch the weather forecast on that same area. And you can always restream everything too. Leslie, what's up? I'm getting trolled by my own people in here. Rudy says, what about those flathead hammerheads? And do you want to explain what these are? No? It's like a worm. So I guess when it rains a lot, they're giggling. You can over here. They're these worms that I guess look like a hammerhead shark. And if you cut it, well, first you have to freeze it, then cut it or something. Then it regenerates, and if you put salt on it in the fridge, what is it? In the freezers. Let me check the script. She sees she's invested now in what we're talking about. They're looking. That's a great question, Mr. Rudy Trevino. Thank you for asking. Great commentary here. People are loving the question from you. They want to see Rudy Trevino on the live stream. Rudy's a man of the people, you know. You ask him to do something, and a lot of times he does it, but not tonight. Not tonight. He's busy. They have to write some of their scripts out, and you know this is a busy time for a news anchor. Let me tell you. Put the worm in a bag, freeze it with salt and vinegar in the bag. Yeah, but you can't chop it up. If you chop it up before, you get two worms. That are both, do they both have hammerheads? We don't know. Okay. All right. Hopefully everyone had a good day. You know, didn't have any worms, no flooding problems, and we'll see y'all when we see you next, whenever that is. Enjoy the rest of your week.